Good morning, BGMC kids!
Hello, BGMC boys and girls.
Hello, BGMC boys and girls.
Hello, BGMC boys and girls.
Hi everyone, my name is Toby the Teepier, and I am from Asia Pacific, and I am an endangered species, which means there's not many of my kind left. And we are going to be learning about the endangered people of Thailand, which means they are endangered of not knowing Jesus. And since you guys get to know so much about me, why don't you go learn more about me in the Kahoot?
Hey guys, it's Isaac here. So I'm going to be talking about the endangered people group of Southern Thai. So their total population is 5 million people. The biggest city in southern Thailand is Hat Yai. Hat Yai. The language is Southern Thai. So same as the name, easy to remember, language and the name of the area is Southern Thai. Less than 1% following Jesus. So if you were to take 100 people, 100 random people from Southern Thai, only one of those people would be a Christian. That's a very small amount. So, you know, that's why we need to send missionaries there so that we can increase that number. And the more Christians you have, the more Christians will come. So that number could grow pretty fast, actually. For the Southern Thai, Buddhism and Islam are both combined with something called folk animism. So folk animism, 2 words. It is a practice in which they seek help through the worship of supernatural spirits and objects. So I'm going to break that down for you. So some of you may know what supernatural means, some of you may not. Supernatural is anything that we don't see on a daily basis, really. A supernatural thing would be an angel or a demon. Those are things that are not within, it's difficult to explain, not something that's natural, not something that's on earth, but rather something that is in heaven or on hell. And so the problem with this is, with folk animism, they believe that their supernatural objects and spirits are not from heaven or from hell. They believe they're just supernatural, they're just on their own. And the problem with this is anything supernatural either comes from heaven or hell. So we worship God and we worship Jesus, those would be, and the things they do and the angels and them themselves would be considered supernatural. Because, you know, they're not something we can really touch with our hands, but rather something of a different world. Or it's difficult to explain because we don't really see them very often. But they believe that their supernatural things are something separate. And the problem with this is, since it can only be from heaven or from hell, and heavenly things don't deceive people, it means that Satan is using these supernatural things to disguise his demons as these supernatural objects. So what the people following folk animism don't realize is they are actually following demons. So we're going to continue talking about this. So more than half of the Southern Thai are firm believers in Buddhism. And Thai Buddhists devoutly follow the principles of Buddha and seek to eliminate suffering, improve their future and present lives, and achieve peace. So it seems like their goals are quite innocent and quite pure. They seem like a lot of things we search for: to eliminate suffering, get rid of hurting, get rid of pain. have peace. Those sound like all nice things. The problem is though, these things underneath them is the devil, and the devil deceives. And so deceive means convince you of an idea that's wrong. So it basically, what it means is it makes them believe what they're doing is right, but it's actually wrong. They don't realize that when they worship these supernatural objects, they're actually worshiping the devil. And so this is why we really need to call missionaries to them, to show them the truth behind what they're doing. Because we know the truth behind when we read the Bible and when we worship God, we know the truth behind that is that we are following Jesus or following God. Through the acts that we do, underneath those is following God. The acts that these people do by worshipping the supernatural objects, underneath that they are worshipping the devil. And so the important thing, and maybe it'll be a good idea for you to think about, why do you do the things you do? What's the truth behind it? Why do you try to be nice to people? Why do you try to help people out? Why do you read the Bible? Why do you come to church? Try to think, is God underneath all that? And that's just the important thing to think about. I'm not suggesting that any of you are secretly following the devil, but maybe some of you are doing this without a truth underneath. So it's just a good thing to always think about the true thing underneath what we believe. And it's important for other people and other countries to realize that the truth beneath what they are worshipping might be something different than they expected, and it might be wrong. And I think if they realized how wrong what they're doing was, they wouldn't be doing it anymore, or many of them wouldn't be doing it anymore.
Sahwahdee, guys. Now, did you guys know that Sahwahdee means hello in Thai? Now it's your turn to try to say it. Ready? Sahwahdee. Great job. Next, I'm going to be telling you guys a bit more about a kid named Sampan. He says, I live in a children's home in Chiang Rai, Thailand. My favorite snack is deep fried crickets, and I love playing soccer. Writing is a subject I am best at in school. Whenever I have free time after chores are done, I like to play computer games. No way. I love Club Penguin. Do you think he plays Club Penguin? Anyways, I'd love to tell you more about where I live. So, the native language in Thailand is Thai. Now, can anyone remember the word I taught you guys earlier for hello? Yeah, Sahwahdee. Then he says, for food, we eat a lot of rice at the children's home, but my absolute favorite is pizza. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love pizza. He also said they eat a lot of grilled meatballs on a stick, and for a treat that they might eat some deep fried crickets. Now, I don't know about the whole cricket thing, but I am absolutely a fan of the pizza part. As far as religion goes in Thailand, there are 3 main religions: Buddhism, Sunni Muslim, and animism. Then, he says, for school, most kids go to school until at least 9th grade. Many people I know will take a bus as far as they can, then cram into the back of a pickup truck with other children to ride the rest of the way to school. Sometimes, if they are very late for school, they will ride side saddle on a motorbike taxi called a motosai. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, that seems like a lot of trouble just for getting to school. They aren't blessed like we are here to just be able to take a bus or get our parents to drive us.
What's up, BGMC? Grab your pantyhose, put a tennis ball in here, and get ready to whip it around.
Hey guys, me again. We're going to be doing story time, and today we're going to be learning about Som Phon. Som Phon was, when he was born, his mum was in prison because she was an illegal immigrant. So an illegal immigrant is somebody who comes into a country from a different country. Like I came from England to America and they come without permission. So I came and I was given permission to enter the country. So I am a legal immigrant. But if you are an illegal immigrant, that means you came without permission. For the first 2 years of his life, he was the little boy who slept in a prison on a cement pad surrounded by wire. Can you imagine sleeping in a prison as a baby? I mean, it's bad enough as a child or an adult, but babies, you know, if you've had a sibling that was a baby, they cry a lot and they have a lot of needs. They have a lot of things they need. They can't be sleeping on cement floors. That's really, you know, it's sad to think about. There seemed to be little hope for me. I was an orphan passed around from place to place. So he really didn't have a secure home. I don't know if he even was able to see his mum. He grew up in a prison. I mean, it's a terrible life to think about. So if you think of all the comfort we have that he just doesn't have. 2 wonderful missionaries from Chiang Rai Children's Home, Debbie and Terry, came to visit me. When they met me, they were afraid there was something terribly wrong with my physical body. At almost 2 years old, I had little muscle control in my neck, so my head, which seemed very large, flopped awkwardly, so he wasn't really able to keep his head upright because of the way that he had grown up. He hadn't grown up in a way that, you know, he could develop properly, so he didn't have very much support on his neck. Overwhelmed with compassion, but frightened at the prospect of what needs I might have, these missionaries knew just one thing to do. So they were scared by all the things he might need. They didn't know what he needed to be helped. They didn't know how many problems he had from this terrible life he'd been living. So Debbie took me in her arms and Terry cried out to God, "Oh God, what do we do? If it's your will, then let us have this little boy." 3 weeks later, it was official. I went to Chiang Rai's Children's Home, where I was given the name Som Phon. And I was loved, nurtured, and accepted. So Debbie and Terry, they cried out to God. They asked him, "What can we do?" It's okay sometimes as a Christian to be confused. You shouldn't ever think that you have all the answers. Sometimes all you need to do is you need to cry out to God with all your heart and say, "What should I do?" If you're having a difficult time at school, with friends, in any situation, you don't need to think that just because you're a Christian, you have the Bible, you have all the answers. Although there's a lot of great answers in the Bible, sometimes you just need to ask God, "What can I do? What can I do to fix this situation?" And they also said, "If it's your will, then let us have this little boy." Be willing to let God do what he wants. Let his will prevail. And prevail means let his will go through and not ours. And so they prayed that's a great prayer for a bad situation that you're in. If you're in a difficult situation, just say, "Dear Jesus, what can I do? And if it's your will, can I succeed in this way? Can I get this, or can I do this?" You know? So it's just a very important and powerful prayer to remember. When you come to the children's home, suddenly you have 140 brothers and sisters, Terry explained. "You're one of us." So it's like when they come to the home, they become part of a big family of many other orphans, I believe. Although it seemed like I would never be able to speak, with care and love, I began to try new things and learn how to talk. The routine of life at the children's home, which includes chores, devotions, script memorization, schooling, and playing with lots of kids, which actually sounds quite a bit like, a household. You have chores, in a Christian household, you have devotions. A lot of us remembered scripture, or we still remember scripture in Sunday school. So there's a lot of similarities now. He's come out of this very difficult situation in prison to a life that, we might be able to live through. So he's been put in a much better situation, but it's still not perfect. He still doesn't have his mum. And so it's important to remember that, he's very grateful for what he has, but it's still not what we have. And it's important for us to be grateful for what we have, because it is much better than other people's lives. And it's even much better than other people's lives that they dream of having. So one day, the other kids were reciting their memorized Bible verses to some visiting guests, and then someone handed a microphone to me. I was nervous, but I asked God for help. And with confidence and precision, I amazed everyone, including myself, by reciting an entire chapter in the Bible. That's crazy. A whole chapter in the Bible, not one verse, not two verses, a whole chapter in the Bible. I'm now an honor roll student full of energy and promise. In fact, recently, at 11 years old, I wrote a school essay on agriculture, which is things like farming, basically growing crops. That won second place in the entire nation of Thailand at 11 years old. That through the power of Jesus and his care for orphans like me, I am no longer the throwaway kid no one wanted. I am a special child with a special promise and a bright future. And that's something that God does all the time if we are willing to follow him, is he makes us feel special. Even if people at school may bully us or say mean things to us that make us feel like we are not special, God makes us feel special. He makes us realize that we are a creation of him, and he's perfect. He created us, and he has a plan for us, and he believes that we are very special to him. So that's a pretty big deal. It doesn't really matter if you're special to some kid at your school, because you're precious to the guy or the God who created the entire universe. Okay, it doesn't even really matter. I mean, it's still difficult, but you can that's a nice thought to think about, that other people, what they think about you, it doesn't really matter, because God created everything. And as we see here with Sahwahdee, he really made him feel special and made him feel appreciated and made him realize that he was made for a purpose. He was not made to stay in a prison the rest of his life, but he was made to be a great, smart kid who knew his Bible well, obviously.
Okay, so you may be wondering, how can you help the people of Thailand? How can I help the people of Thailand? Well, there are many different ways, but one way that you can do it easily at home with no cost is praying to God that they will be, like the people of Thailand will be helped, because they need a lot of help. So here's some different ways that you can pray for them. Then I'm going to pray. Anyway, here we go. Okay, now the first thing you can do is pray for the Missionaries of Thailand. Now, the reason why they need praying for is because it's very dangerous in Thailand. The roads and the traffic, there's crazy traffic. And also, there's a lot of diseases and sicknesses. So they're constantly needing help. So you can pray that they will be kept safe in their journeys and that they won't get sick. Now, another thing is pray against spiritual darkness. Now, spiritual darkness is a very scary thing because Satan's attacks on people are often quite scary. Like, for instance, some missionary kids often wake up with nightmares and things like that and fears just out of the blue for no apparent reason. But it's because of spiritual darkness, and it's Satan's attacks on the missionary children. So definitely pray for them, that they will be kept spiritually safe from Satan's attacks. Now, next one is you can pray for the refugee children from different countries, that they will be kept safe, like Myanmar, they can't go to school. Now you may think, that's awesome, I don't have to go to school. Well, you see, kids who haven't been to school like all their life, they may think, I can't wait to go to school, I want to learn, which may seem impossible, but sometimes learning can be fun, and if you don't know much about the world around you, this can be a way of really connecting with the world. Okay, so the last thing on the list is that there are extremely dangerous pollution levels in Thailand, which means that sometimes whole schools will have to close down just because the air is dirty, which really isn't good. But the reason they close down is because the air is really bad for you and it makes you really sick. So pray that either the pollution levels will go down, or that people will be able to find a way to get around this, so that they can go to school again. Maybe you don't want to go to school, but the people there some of the people really enjoy learning about the world around them. Anyway, I'm gonna pray now, and then we'll finish up. Okay, let's pray. God, I come to you today, praying that you will please, Lord, give the children of Thailand a chance to hear what you have, Lord, your gospel. Keep them safe, Lord, through this whole coronavirus thing, Lord. Please, Lord, I pray for the missionaries who are there, and I pray that you will keep them safe and help them spread the gospel. And I also pray for these children and people who are watching this video today, and I pray that they will really be able to see what difference they can make in the world and how they can get through this whole coronavirus thing, Lord. Amen. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you next month.